In the next few minutes, we will teach you some powerful ways on how to remove or break a curse, which has been put onto you in either this life or your previous ones. However, if you do not have the mental or spiritual will to sit through a few minutes of instruction that can benefit you, then we cannot help you in this life. And click away now and continue on with your existence. But if you wish to be liberated from negative energy, curses and evil spells or hexes set upon you, then continue on. You may pause the video throughout to make notes, as these instructions will be invaluable to you and your friends and family. Please listen to the end, as we will link to some important free training material and details on how to contact us if you need help. We will dive straight into what you need to do, then teach you the history of these yantras. What you see on the screen is the TaColvian Yantra. The TaColvian Yantra. This will protect you against most curses from all traditions. In Hindu Aayyanism, a curse is an incantation, a reverse blessing, or a ritual act that breaks down the barriers between negative dimensions called talas and our reality. These talas contain either demonic energy or demonic entities, which can pass through to our realm and attach themselves to you, to bring harm to yourself or your family. If someone has cursed you in a range of traditions, the Aayyanists believe that the curse can be dissipated or reflected by these symbols. This also applies to evil spells or hexes. We will tell you how this works later in this video, but the most important thing you need to focus on is how to use this yantra. How to use. One of the most effective ways in using these symbols is to simply draw them on earth, walls or rocks using either chalk or stone, on your dwelling. You can also draw them on an earthen pot with a hand-drawn picture of yourself and your family placed inside it. The pot should then be buried in your garden. You may also use charcoal on paper. While you draw the symbols, visualize them and visualize the transfer of resonant energy, and feel the power of the loka opening, and being brought closer to this plane of reality. You may also draw the yantra on paper and keep it close to you. But the organic method of ground, wall or pot writing is more effective. We will explain this loka energy transfer in a short while, so please do not skip that important part if you wish to use these methods effectively. Advanced Aayyanists use a handcrafted Aaiyyan stick to draw the yantra onto soil or sand, though you can also use your finger or some personal artifact that has a material and spiritual link to yourself. We will explain why in a moment in the next section. Finally, some Aayyanist schools visualize the yantra and draw it via their mind, and this is permissible to do if you are unable to draw for any reason. It is also important to draw the yantra in your home, on the walls or ground, or to bury the earthen pot in your garden. The location should be close to you. We will explain why this is important in the next section right now. The history of Aayyanism. In order to understand why you need to perform these rituals, we will spend a few minutes giving you a crash course in the power of Dravidian Hindu Aayyanism. Please do not skip this part, as this will be the most important information you will ever hear. Especially if you know nothing about Yantras and Hinduism. 100,000 years ago, Murugan Aaiyyan, the progeny of the great god Shiva and goddess Parvati, came to earth and taught us humans how we can use yantras to unlock doors to various dimensions. These dimensions could be positive lokas, negative talas, or combinations of them both. There are also other forms of dimensional space such as dark to light, from loud to soft, and many more. In fact, according to Hindu Aayyanists, there are an innumerable number of dimensional spaces that surround our reality. Once Murugan Aaiyyan taught us how yantras are keys to opening dimensions. The early Aayyanist pioneers began exploring this universe, and found more yantras or keys to other dimensional spaces. This was done via astral projection, which is discussed in depth by Guru Dhaval's podcast. This continued on until it was partially blocked by the demon Surapadman, and then the Kalayan incident in 15,000 BC. We will put a link in the description to Surapadman and the Kalayans if you wish to read more about this. So to reiterate, the yantra you see here is the key to unlock a particular positive dimensional space, which is known as the TaColvian Loka. This yantra was found by Tantra Guru King Sivanyan, in 8300 BC, who was able to converse with asuras, or demons, and embraced himself in negative energy, in order to understand the universal oneness of Om. Like all Aayyanists, the Guru King found this space by astral projection, and thus found the key that unlocks this door. His initial studies were the basis of the yantra you see before you now, and was then refined by the gurus after the emergence of Swami Aaiyyan, including a pupil of Guru Dwivedi, which we will explain shortly. The writing or scripts presented in these yantras are said to write out spiritually a path to a particular group of positive lokas, called TaColvian, that have the ability to dissipate bad negative energy. Also contained are symbols honed by an unknown pupil of Guru Dwivedi, who was said to have great skills in the abhichara, tantric arts, and could reflect demonic entities back to their own domain. So the combined yantra shown here has the ability to both reflect curses or hexes and dissipate them. So let us be clear here. The TaColvian Loka space is actually a closed series of positive lokas that has the characteristics of both reflecting curses and dissipating them. The TaColvian Loka contains symbols that allow us to open a portal to the TaColvian Loka space. So in other words, this yantra is a key to open a particular positive dimensional Loka space. Each symbol you see is like a groove on a key, that once combined opens a particular space in this universe, that houses the combined TaColvian Lokas. But before we continue on, we will spend just a few minutes on what a curse actually is. What is a curse or a hex? A curse, according to Dravidian Aaryanism, is an incantation, a mindset, a reverse blessing, or a ritual act. These actions break down the barriers between our realm and negative dark dimensions called talas. These tala planes contain either negative energy or demonic entities, which can pass through to bring harm to you and your family. If the curse is strong, and the negative energy directed against you is high, then a number of demonic entities may latch onto you, and bring great harm to you in the form of illness, bad luck, poor life choices and even death. Most people who are cursed by low vibrational toxic individuals, and thus the negative energy has a particular signature. Also, the entities that these low-level individuals direct to you are also lesser demonic in nature. However, if you have been cursed by a high-level practitioner, then please contact your local Aaryanist representative immediately or the Aaiyyan World Foundation. Also, if you believe you have a generational curse or a curse from previous incarnations, the TaColvian Yantra may help, but do also contact the Aaiyyan World Foundation to be sure. We will give a link at the end of this talk. A hex, or an evil spell, is a direct attack from an individual who has put a spell upon you. For example, a direct spell to prevent you finding love or a job. Or more powerful spells to harm you. Low-level spells can also be reflected by the TaColvian Yantra, but higher-level attacks need the dedicated approach from a high-level Aaryanist. In some instances a personal bespoke yantra must be completed, that can negate and reflect the direct spells sent to you. Contact an Aaryanist if you wish to have a bespoke yantra for a particular need. The TaColvian series of lokas are positive dimensions that have the ability to neutralize negative energy directed to you. It was found that the energy signature of the TaColvian Loka is the conjugate or mirror of the most common form of negative energy that low vibrational individuals use, either consciously or subconsciously. Thus it also has the ability to reflect negative energy back against the people who have cursed you. Now we have presented what a curse and hex is, you now know why the location of the TaColvian Yantra is important, and why it should be organic in nature. Firstly, the positive energy of the TaColvian Loka must become resonantly attuned to you. The best way to do this is to draw it using organic material, such as chalk or charcoal or natural paint. If you have an earthen pot, which is organic in nature, and put a personal hand drawing of your family inside, then the resonance will be increased exponentially. Having the TaColvian Yantra open close to you is also very important. As the closer the positive energy is to you, the better able it is to dispel and reflect negative energy and low-level demonic entities. Thus, many Aaryanists place the yantra where they sleep, their place of work, and buried in their garden. In other words, the places where they are most likely to spend the day and night. Even Guru Dhaval has the TaColvian Yantra, and other more powerful yantras, adorned in the place where he sleeps and works, as he is under constant attack by high-level tantrics, who do not wish this information to be made public. Another more advanced method is to draw the yantra over and over, until you have memorized it. This is the universe's way of teaching you that you are becoming resonantly attuned. It is also how young Aaryanists are taught and become attuned to this Loka space. So it goes without saying, a yantra created by a high-level Aayyanist is very powerful, as it is very resonantly attuned to the TaColvian Loka space. If you would like a hand copy of the TaColvian Yantra, contact the Aaiyyan World Foundation. There is a word of warning. If you reverse or mirror the symbols and draw them using non-organic material, you may create a curse area, which attracts negative energy and absorbs rather than reflects, so do not do that. Unless of course you are a tantric Aayyanist. This mirrored yantra is not as powerful as the TaColvian Yantra, used to directly curse people, which many of you know about. But it will lead to negativity in your life. So this is the end of the podcast. We know that using the TaColvian Loka Yantra will protect you from curses and hexes. It goes without saying that you should share this knowledge with your friends and family to help them. There are many people on this planet suffering from negative energy that has been placed deliberately or subconsciously on them. So the more people you help, the more the universe will help you. This is important, so we will repeat it. The more people you help, the more the universe will help you. So do share this knowledge. If you have been cursed by a powerful adept, or if you have a deep curse placed upon you, or a multi-generational curse, then the TaColvian Yantra may not work entirely. There will be some positive effects, but if the curse is deep, and you want to rid yourself of it in its entirety, then contact the Aaiyyan World Foundation immediately before it is too late. If you find these teachings useful, please subscribe and click on the next video for some free training. Many thanks for listening.